Man, there's so much pain in the world. It seems almost to me like this world is made out of pain. Like, what will we know without it? I think, like, about like a baby being born, when we're inside of our mother, it's like the perfect environment for us to grow. I mean? We're kept at the perfect temperature, the perfect moisture, everything, you know what I mean? And where the baby can grow from like a single cell egg into this little human. And then the baby is born, it comes out into the environment, it makes the first contact with air. It's cold. It has to breathe, use its lungs for the first time. It opens its eyes. Imagine the amount of pain and discomfort that little baby must, experience for its first time in the existence in the world outside of its mother. But, and then we live, and as small children, a lot of times we just experience more pain, traumatic shit. And, so many of us are still walking around with so much fucking pain. It's unreal. This trauma is never fully resolved in some people, and just go from one thing to another trying to distract ourselves or, cope with it any kind of way that we can figure out how to. And at that point, it's almost back to an unconsciousness. We're breathing, yeah, we're walking around this earth, but we're not consciously coping with any of this pain. We're not really walking, we're not really talking. We're acting like infants and shit, just babbling and stumbling around in the world. And it just fucks me up. I was sitting there in bed last night just thinking about it. So many people just walking around straight addicted, just, dope, sex, money, like, and they can never keep any of it. It never lasts. I mean, like gambling and drugs and relationships that they just use to try to fill themselves and try to distract themselves. And it's all for themselves. It's fucking crazy, man. I would never try to compare the pain of my life to somebody else's, because you just don't know what motherfuckers go through. But, I think it's all for a purpose. I think it's all for a purpose. Like the little baby and shit when he's born and he has to breathe air for the first time. That shit is to make him stronger. He has to learn how to fucking breathe. When the little toddler is learning how to walk and he falls down and he busts his ass a couple times, you know what I mean? It probably hurts, maybe, I don't know. But it's for a purpose, so he can learn. So many of us, we're not fucking learning. We're not learning shit. We're not growing up. I think, those of us who are, we kind of have like a responsibility to lead the others. I felt like I learned some shit in my life that allowed me to cope with things, but then it only got me so far because I wasn't helping anyone. I was hiding. I'm like, okay, this is the way it is. Open my eyes. This is how shit is. But I didn't learn to walk. I would stay alone and just avoid people and all their shit, man. So I'm like, I don't want no part of it, man. But it's like the call of the conscience, And I think if you look at addiction, what is addiction? What is diction? That's speaking, that's the voice. And what is the prefix a? It means without. So without diction, we're missing that voice. We're not listening to that voice. I think we all have it. Everybody has a conscience, and it's talking to them. Even if you are fucking addicted, you know what you're doing is wrong most of the time. But you're so focused on yourself. I can only speak for myself. I knew a lot of times what I was doing was wrong. But then, once you're in the middle of it, you only think about yourself. I only thought about myself. I don't know, man. I was just sitting in bed last night, laying there, just feeling sorry for people. Like, God damn, like, they're never gonna move forward. People, you know what I mean? Some of these people out here, they're getting old, living these fucking lives of just shit garbage. They're fucking more than halfway through their lives seeking out fucking more trauma, seeking out relationships, seeking out dope, It's kind of fucking scary, dude. Like, I don't know, has it always been this way? Is this how it's always been? I don't know. People say that like society is degenerating and stuff like that, but I have no fucking idea. I wasn't here 100 years ago or 300 years ago. It seems to me like this is the best it's ever been for human civilization. There's equal and opposites, I'm sure. Maybe 1,000 years ago, people were happier living with the land and with nature and shit, or, who knows? I don't necessarily believe that people really did have to work harder back then, because they needed less. Like, now we look at what we strive for. All of this shit that we strive for creates our own suffering. All of these selfish desires is what creates our suffering for the most part. They say suffering is the sole origin of consciousness. I think desire is the sole origin of suffering. But damn, why do we want so much and give so little? I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but damn, man. I know for me, man, the more that I give, the more that I get, the less that I need, The more that I think that I need, the more miserable I am. Some of us just have fucking massive trauma and lying about it, trying to pretend like we're not. That's a major issue because you can never address that shit. You can never really deal with it until you admit it. Like, you have some fucking massive trauma. Now fucking deal with it before you put that shit out there to the rest of the world. Because we live these whole fucking lives of lies. Trying to be somebody we're not. Trying to cover up our fucking trauma. It's crazy shit, man. But then after we get past that, and then we just focus on ourselves. Okay, we fixed our trauma, but then what? Then you give back. You teach other people how to do the same thing. I don't know. But I'm just trying to do the best I can, man. Like, I feel like I've gotten past a lot of trauma in my life, and now just want to like show the example, and give back. Because I know that just hiding away from it all, it wasn't doing shit for me. I was still just as miserable, having all these understandings and doing nothing about it. But here I am, just trying to move forward and share some of these things that have helped me. But there's a lot of suffering in the world, man. Let's do what we can to try to alleviate some of that suffering.